It's too early. I'm sleepy. Do I have to get up? Students throughout history have probably said those words in one way or another, but it raises an important question. When is the best time to start the school day? At Des Moines Public Schools, we're always looking at how we can do more to support our students and help everyone succeed. An idea currently being considered is a change in the bell times, or school hours. The plan would flip the current hours so that elementary students begin the day a little earlier, while middle and high school students would start a little later. Research points to how this change would help students because it better matches up with the sleep patterns of children at different ages. Superintendent Tom Ahard has more to share about why this idea is being considered.
So why make the change in the first place? There's a growing body of research that gives very clear indication that our students at the secondary level, middle school and high school kids, those early adolescents and young adults, benefit from not just more sleep, but also sleep later into the morning so that they can be more academically productive, more academically focused, have better sleep that matches their natural biological patterns, and it also provides some health benefits as well.
There is a huge body of research showing that teens get better sleep when they go to bed a little later and when they get up a little later. And there's a lot to be said, and it can't be repeated enough, that this is not because teenagers just stay up late and then they don't get up in the morning because they're so tired. There is actually a physiological shift that happens after puberty. Kids start to secrete melatonin. That's the hormone that initiates sleep. They secrete this later by an hour or two after puberty. So it is actually more difficult for kids to fall asleep when they are a teenager than it was when they were younger. So parents will also bring up the fact that teenagers like to be on screens at night, and that is this something that's really driving the fact that teens stay up late and then they want to sleep in. And yes, in a way, that is a modifiable behavior. That is something that absolutely every family should do, is set a media curfew. But this doesn't really change the fact that teenagers still have a normal sleep cycle that's later. It can affect the quality of their sleep, it can affect how quickly they fall asleep, but they still have a physiologic change after puberty that makes it more difficult to fall asleep earlier. And that's not something that just adjusting screens or putting a child to bed earlier is going to be able to fix. What is modifiable is what time they have to then get up. If we can line up a teenager's activities in their school day so that it syncs up with their normal sleep cycle, that is the healthiest option for the child.
These benefits, both academically and physically, are disproportionately beneficial to our less privileged students. Our elementary students can benefit academically and physically as well by an earlier start time, where the school day more matches their natural peak times for academic and social engagement.
One of the things with younger kids is that they are more able to get up earlier. A lot of parents with younger kids know that it doesn't really matter necessarily what the parent's plan is. The kid will wake up earlier than parents often expect, and that's because, again, they have an earlier kind of sleep cycle. They are more likely to be able to be put to bed earlier and actually fall asleep and then get up earlier. So that is a little bit more adjustable for a younger child. In fact, they should go to bed earlier and get up earlier, whereas a teen, that's just different. A teenager can go to bed and try to go to bed at 9 or 9:30 or 10, but they may not actually be able to fall asleep. Being in bed is not the same as being asleep. And it's also true that teenagers get healthier sleep if they sleep during their normal cycle. So if a normal cycle for a teenager is 10 or 10:30 or 11 and then they get up at 8, that can be healthier sleep for them than if they're trying to go to bed earlier than that and then have to get up earlier to go to school earlier.
There are some other benefits that the district will realize as well. At this point, our elementary schools start at 3 different times due to transportation challenges. Now all of our elementaries will have the same start and release time, which will provide better collaboration opportunities for our teachers and leadership. About 10 years ago, the school board of Des Moines Public Schools considered making a similar change and was unable to find a way to implement this change without increased cost in transportation. We now have that hurdle cleared, and we can make this change without adding additional expenditures to our budget. Changes in school start times necessarily impact families' schedules. One thing that we want everyone to keep in mind is our kids, they're growing and they're moving through the system. They spend about half of their years at the elementary level and about half of their years at the secondary level. So adjustments certainly need to be made, but remember, our students are fluid, they move through the system, so what may feel like an inconvenience at one point in time may actually feel like a convenience a little later on in your child's academic career.
The reality is that having a later start time for teenagers means that we're putting the child's health and their education first.
We feel like this change will be beneficial to our students from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. But we recognize that this is a pretty major change for our community, both for our DMPS faculty and staff, as well as our families. We really do want your input, we want to hear from you, and we want you to learn more about why we're pursuing this possible change.
If you want to read more about this issue, share questions or comments, or take part in a survey, please visit us online at schoolhours.dmschools.org.